everybody, and welcome to the first rendition of the JV Mock Draft 1.0. Let's get right to it. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I waited till Sunday to redo this video because, if you guys don't know, the Rams gave Jacksonville their first rounder for last year and this year for Jalen Ramsey. The Rams lost yesterday to the Packers, so their draft position is solidified. With that being said, it's been a crazy year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They look like they had a promising start to the season, upsetting the Colts week 1. Gardner Minshew looked pretty good, and it just kind of went downhill from there. So these mock drafts that I'll be doing is what I would do if I were the GM of the team. Does it exactly reflect what will happen? Probably not. These are the moves I would make as a GM in order to not only make a better team, have a better product on the field, establish a legacy, and perhaps, more fans into the stands. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So, as all of you guys know, the Jacksonville Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick. And the first overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, it is Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson. I think this guy is just magnificent at the quarterback position. I definitely believe that he has all the intangibles, tools, everything, you name it, to be a successful quarterback in the NFL. I think we all saw it on a national setting when he just completely dismantled the Alabama defense in the national championship his true freshman year. He just did things that no true freshman should be able to do, and he really landed himself on the radar. And ultimately, I think he kind of claimed this number 1 overall pick years ago with that performance in the national championship. Moving on to the next pick, this is going to be a huge surprise. There is a trade. Yes, a trade. The Jets trade their 2nd overall pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jacksonville Jaguars had to trade their 25th overall pick, their 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, 2 5ths, 2 7ths, and a 1st rounder next year. It's a lot to give up, but it's definitely worth it as they take Penne Sewell, the offensive tackle from Oregon. This guy's a monster. I mean, the amount of plays that he was able to really just have a handle on throughout his college career was insane. He opted out this past year due to COVID-19 and to prepare for the draft, and I think that's the best thing he could have done. He had already displayed what he could have done at such a high level the last few years. We're talking about a guy that just dominated defensive lines at 19 and 20 years old, and he's handling guys that are 2, maybe even 3 years older than he is. He really displayed great quickness with his feet, great hand movement, just an overall great left tackle. Somebody you can definitely build a franchise around, because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 pieces on the offense that you need to have a true chance at winning a Super Bowl. You need a left tackle, and you need a quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback's number 1 in many people's eyes, but if you give that quarterback a good offensive line, I feel even some mediocre quarterbacks can play very well. Moving on to the next pick, it's going to be the 2nd pick, 2nd round pick. They got that from Los Angeles as well, and that will be actually, I take that back. That's the 13th overall pick. Don't know exactly what team that belongs to. But nevertheless, they go ahead and they take Shaun Wade, cornerback from Ohio State. I know he kind of got torched, on the national stage a few days ago, but I still think Shaun Wade can be a very solid starter in the NFL. I think it'd be a great selection, especially a position of need for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This wasn't even a scenario a few years ago. They had Jalen Ramsey, they had A.J. Boye, they had a stout defense. It's kind of fallen apart since then. A lot of their guys have been traded, moved on, cut, whatever, you name it. There's a lot of movement going on with this franchise, and they need to get some stability, and it begins with the draft class. And if they get a good cornerback in the 2nd round, this is the guy right here. Best available, Shaun Wade. He can definitely do some damage. He did pretty well throughout the season. It's just the national championship, in my opinion, kind of hurt his draft stock just a little bit, but that's the perfect buying time. You want to buy low and you want to sell high. This is a great buy low right now. He was a projected top 32 overall pick. That clearly isn't happening anymore, more than likely, unless a team's very desperate for a cornerback. Jacksonville Jaguars nab him up in the second round. And with the third round pick, they still retained. The Jacksonville Jaguars draft Deontay Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is a manimal. He went trending all over the internet just for his sheer size and just sturdiness that he brought to that offensive line in Alabama. One quick stat for you. In his 3 seasons he has played at Alabama, he has not allowed 1 sack. You want to talk about consistency. He is the definition of it. I'm very surprised they have him here at a 3rd round grade, but, even on Pro Football Focus and all those other big networks, they definitely don't have him as high as I think he can be personally. I definitely think he could be an all-pro guard. He has that potential, and the Jacksonville Jaguars waste no time nabbing him up here. With that being said, one thing to kind of keep an eye on with this whole mock draft that I just did was the fact that they're kind of building around Trevor Lawrence. 2 of the 3 pieces, including Trevor Lawrence, 3 of the 4 pieces that they drafted here, including Trevor Lawrence, they're building around him. It's the offensive line. They're definitely looking to develop that offensive line so Trevor Lawrence has time to throw, because once you give this man time to throw, he can make an average receiver look great. That's my personal opinion. So that 4th round pick that they attained, it was fourth round, 1st overall in that round. They traded that away to Philadelphia. And another trade alert. With that selection that we traded away, the Jacksonville Jaguars acquired Zach Ertz. I think this would be a great trade. You want to buy low on Zach Ertz. He didn't have that great of a season. He was injured. And it looks like they're moving off of him in Philly, and their Dallas Goedert's going to be the guy. And by all means, Dallas Goedert has earned it. I think he's a stud at tight end, and he definitely showed that this past season. I think Zach Ertz coming to the Jacksonville Jaguars would give some stability at that position, and obviously another playmaker to go along with DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, and a plethora of other weapons that I think this young Jaguars team has done a good job so far. Don't let this 1-15 record sway you from the fact that this is still a very young team, and I definitely think they have the potential to really capture that lightning in a bottle they had just a few years ago. But let's not forget, guys, they're a few years removed from being in the AFC Championship and losing a very close game to the Patriots dynasty. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the conclusion of JV's Walk the Mock Draft 1.0 of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know it included quite a bit of trades, maybe a little slightly unrealistic, but as a general manager here in this world, I call the shots. Thank you for listening, everybody. Jonathan Velasquez, signing off.